conversed right now because my brothers were traveling over the weekend. So
Well, I'm taking a lot
No,
of
we have
to mention the matter, the so-called Baiju's matter. Your Lordship's order, froze that 150 crores. That is no problem. Your Lordship has frozen it. Your Lordship's added a sentence, there'll be a stay of the order. Now, the stay of the order means the CRP will revive. Now, under COC, normally COC would be a constituted end.
we are taking up the matter. We are
On the 23rd.
No, 20, no, your Lordship is taking
No, it's not
23rd.
coming up.
What has happened is
some
that your
interim
Lordship's,
arrangement. I
your
support,
Lordship's
Dr.
order,
Singh.
one minute.
Dewan will take up the matter. There's no difficulty.
They should not, COC should not be, no, not,
take up
COC should not be constituted in that time because then I have to file a 12A.
Not COC.
I'm not objecting, Malaj. I'm saying,
During the parties, it's coming up.
Well, I am
observation. It's
I am only
unconscionable.
say,
Lord, only a minute, my lord.
how many people
Appointment of a COC
all that you should do is
RP should not constitute the COC before Friday. That's all I'm saying.
Lord, constituting
there may be
COC.
some difficulty about this combination of three sitting on Friday. We can take it either on Thursday or Monday, whatever is
But
convenient.
can it be tomorrow, my lord, subject to your lordship's
Tomorrow or-
availability and
Tomorrow we have the constitution
Or
day.
then Thursday,
Tomorrow is the constitution day.
Lord, Thursday, my lord?
Thursday.
Thursday, my lord.
We can take it up on
Because
Thursday.
Surely between now and day after, they will not constitute.
Lord, it is
Fair enough.
the matter, Lord, without hearing will be allowed if COC is
So
constituted.
Thursday we'll take it.
Only one sentence, it will be infructious if the COC is made in these 48 hours. They should not make a 48 hours.
Yes.
Very well, Malaj. We made our concerns clear to your Lordships. If they go and create a COC in these 2 days.
The others, can you just circulate emails? In the afternoon, I'll deal with your emails and ensure that all matters are listed. Just circulate an email.
Is connected to Moto writ petition 2 of 2024. Like that writ petition was filed by Association of Healthcare Private Limited, Tamil Nadu chapter, in 2019. Notice was
Order for listing the matter. Just talk to the registrar in 10 minutes. Once he's free from here, there would be already an order for listing.
So this is all.
Lords, if your lordships can consider indicating, my lord, the concerns which your lordships would like us to assist.
Mr. Solicitor, Mr. Sybil is appearing for the state of West.
Your Lordship, with Mr. Subin, in this matter, Your Lordship, I'm also assisting Your
I'm
Lordship.
appearing for the Delhi Medical Association. Lord, we have filed an application.
The state of West Bengal is represented by Mr. Sybil.
Yes, ma'am.
This is
Lord, I appear for
I'm
the
appearing
Indian.
for the Bengal Doctors, the Association of Bengal.
Lord, I am appearing for the original writ petitioner on
Your Lordship, I'm,
order the CBI was done.
my Lord, I'm appearing on behalf of the petitioner.
Number of interveners.
Yes,
Please,
Not
sir.
have
Appearing
everybody
on
calling
behalf of
out
the
the-
petitioners.
calling out who they are appearing for. We'd only request the interveners to give a slip of paper to the court master indicating who you are appearing for. We'll take that.
I'll give it, my lord.
Otherwise, we'll spend the next 10 minutes and only,
I'm appearing for the Indian Medical Association. We'll give our slip, my lord.
And my lord, I am for the writ petitioner at whose behest the investigation was transferred to CBI.
But the reason why, I must make it clear, the reason why we decided to take Moto cognizance, we are conscious of the fact that the High Court was entertaining a petition which was filed by the petitioners who are here before us. Is because this is really now not just a matter relating to a particular murder which takes place in a hospital in Kolkata, which is horrific in the nature of the crime, but it raises systemic issues in regard to the safety of doctors.
Lord, 2 more incidents, one in Bombay and one in Ahmedabad after Calcutta.
Let the Chief Justice, please.
Because this deals with the systemic issue of safety of doctors across India.
Yes.
There are a couple of things, Ms. Sybil, before we deal with the broader aspects of safety and what we propose to do, we'll tell you in
I have something to assist on that, my lord, neutrally.
briefly on both aspects. First, on matters of safety, we are deeply concerned about the fact that there is a virtual absence of safe conditions of work for young doctors across the country, particularly in public hospitals. As we know, these are all young interns, they are residents, senior residents, doctors, and most importantly, women doctors
Yes.
who are subject to of graver dangers and
They are
vulnerability
vulnerable.
by virtue of the nature of their
Absolutely.
because of gender,
Working hours.
just and working hours. most of the young doctors have to put in somewhere
36 hours,
36 hours.
Malad, stretch.
We find that there are no duty rooms available, no separate restrooms or duty rooms available for men and women doctors, for the other nursing staff, for the paramedical staff who are also on duty. And therefore, we must evolve a national consensus to ensure that there must be a standard national protocol to ensure that safe conditions of work are provided. This is not a matter of providing protection either to women or protection to doctors in general. It's a matter of creating safe conditions of work so that they ultimately, what is equality under the Constitution all about? If women cannot go to a place of work and be safe, then we are denying them the basic conditions of equality. And therefore, we are entertaining this, and I'll very shortly share the way we want to proceed with this to ensure that ultimately, it's not that every time that there is a rape or murder that the conscience of the nation is awakened. We have to do something right here and now to ensure that these conditions of safety are maintained in terms of protocols which will not just be on paper, but protocols which will be enforced across India. Now, insofar as what happened in Kolkata is concerned, a couple of things from what we have. Of course, first, let me begin by saying that we are deeply concerned of the fact that the name of the deceased who was assaulted and murdered, the name has been published all over the media. Photographs have been published all over the media.
Correct.
Video clips, obviously, either before or after the postmortem, have been published, showing her body, after she was subjected to it. It's extremely concerning. We are the first to recognize the right to free speech, but there are well-settled parameters.
It is extremely painful. I agree entirely with you.
Which have been laid down in now the new criminal procedure code by judgments of our court in Nipun Saxena, that you will not publish the names of the survivors of sexual assault. In this case, the person.
It's a criminal. We have filed 50 FIRs on that count. 50 FIRs.
And it was circulated, nobody should publish.
May I just inform your lordships, before the police reached, photos were taken and these were circulated. We didn't allow anything to happen. We cordoned off the area.
This is the way we provide dignity and respect for the privacy of an individual who has lost her life as a young doctor.
Yes.
But apart from that, Ms. Isabel, I'm happy that you are here for the state of West Bengal. Couple of important, quite a few aspects of the way the matter proceeded. It appears that the crime was detected in the early hours of the morning.
Yes.
After the crime was detected in the early hours of the morning, the principal of the hospital tries to pass this off as a suicide.
Not true. Not true.
Her parents are not allowed to see the body. The parents are not allowed to see the body for almost.
No, Malad, I'm sorry. Anyway, Malad, this is the impression. We'll have to place the facts before your lordships. We have investigated that. This is not correct.
Until late night, we find that no FIR was registered.
That's also not correct. Not correct.
What time was the FIR registered?
Malad, in fact, we did what is called what we call a UD case, Malad. Unnatural death case registered.
Yes, unnatural death case
registered.
But
immediately.
That's right.
That's an FIR, Malad. That's an FIR.
Not the body is discovered.
The UD case is
The FIR registered formally in the police.
Malad's inquest was done and then FIR registered immediately and the investigation started.
What time
It should have been done.
the FIR registered?
12, Malad. 12:30.
Does the FIR say that this is a case of a murder?
No.
Yes.
No, it
No, my lord.
unnatural death. It was.
We have something.
One second.
Inquest shows it's a case of murder, Malad.
1 second.
Inquest shows it's a case of murder.
Inquest is done. The autopsy is conducted.
Yes.
Now, until the night, no FIR indicating that this is a clear case of a murder has been made out.
It has, Malad. I'm sorry. I'll place those facts before you. It has been, Malad.
Lord, may I suggest?
From unnatural death, he registered the case for murder. We caught the victim. He is a civic worker, Malad. It's an individual act. I show all that, your lordship.
And that's the first aspect.
Yeah.
What was the principal doing? why did he not, one, why was this kind of inaction on the part first an attempt to pass this off as a suicide instead of a murder?
I'm sorry, Mullah, that's not correct.
Not recording, not registering an FIR till late in the evening. Third, the body itself is handed over to the parents sometime in the evening for cremation. Fourth, and that's a matter of very serious concern. On the next day, the doctors, because they were all doctors working with her, the doctors are on protest. A group of persons, a mob assembles at the hospital. The hospital is invaded and the critical facilities are damaged in the morning or whenever the mob enters. What was the police doing?
Yes. Mullah, we have videos for all. Mullah, let me first of all state.
Surely, Mr. Sivan, the police,
Mullah,
a very serious offense has taken place. The crime scene is within the precincts of the hospital. Now, that is the first thing that the police have to do, namely to protect the crime scene. What are they doing?
Nothing.
Allow vandals to enter the hospital?
It's impossible that 7,000 people
First
can
of all,
gather without
of all,
the consent.
Please, 1 second.
Allow me. This is-
7,000 people can never gather without knowledge or consent of the police.
This is not an adversarial
It's
litigation.
not. Therefore, let us not be in denial mode. One girl has lost life by not only the sexual pervert, he's an animal.
After the principal resigns from this medical college,
He sent to another
he's appointed as a principal of another college.
He doesn't resign. But anyway, be that as, Mullah, let me first.
Conduct, at the least, his conduct is under scrutiny, and he's appointed as a principal somewhere else.
Mullah, this is all, we have a note on all this missing.
Let's not contradict each other. There's a high court order.
The reality, just show it to you.
Let them file the report, not
But just show it to you.
tomorrow.
My lord.
Couple of things which we would like to do. Well, let's make it very clear.
Yeah.
We would want the investigation has been handed over to the
CBI.
Bureau of Investigation.
Yes, done, yes,
We want CBI to file a status report before this court on Thursday.
correct.
We will take up the case on Thursday. We want CBI to apprise us on the status of the investigation.
Correct.
The investigation obviously must be at a very sensitive stage so that it's something which will be submitted to the court.
For court's
For
consumption, not
principal
for the
case
making
guide.
public.
It's really an investigation update
Yes,
status
yes.
report which will be given to us on Thursday. We will consider the status report on Thursday morning and see where the investigation is proceeding. Today, what we intend to do is that today we intend to pass an order. What we have done is, and few of us, that's why we were in conversation with each other. We have discussed the pros and cons. We are setting up under the authority of this court a national task force. The national task force will consist of a diverse segment of doctors from different parts of the country. We want them to make us recommendations in regard to the modalities to be followed across India. We're not only talking of the Adhikar Medical College and Hospital, but modalities to be followed all over the country for ensuring safety at the workplace first and foremost, for which our young doctors, the middle level doctors, the senior doctors are all today on protest and on strike. At the same time, we would, now that we are taking charge of these proceedings, we are appointing a national task force. It's our earnest request to doctors all over the country who have struck work. There are institutions where I know appointments are taken 2 years in advance. For instance, the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Appointments are taken 2 years in advance. If patients lose their slot, they go back by another 2 years. So we would really earnestly appeal to all the doctors that we are here to ensure that their safety and protection is a matter of the highest national concern. And therefore, this is something which we would earnestly appeal to all the young doctors that this is something, please trust us. That's why we have not left it to just the High Court. The High Court, of course, consists of very seasoned judges. The Chief Justice was monitoring the investigation by the CBI, but we felt that this is now not a matter of a particular offense, however serious and horrendous the offense is, but something which affects the institution of healthcare pan-India. Therefore, the need for the Supreme
Mullahs,
Court.
we welcome this. I think this must be done, Mullahs. All of us must be very positive. But Mullahs, I have only one request. Mullahs, I have only one request. Yeah, sorry.
I need 5 minutes on this one.
That's what I said. Yes,
Who is the first informant? We were talking about the first information.
yes.
Who is that first informant? Can you name us, please?
Name him,
Who is the first informant
we
to
just-
lodge the FIR?
the one, I just find out for us.
And we would also like to know the time of the registration of the.
The father of the victim.
Wait a minute, please, don't
Please, don't-
interfere.
Yeah.
Don't interfere.
The
please.
first UD case was done by the police on its own.
So that is not an FIR. What is section 174 of the old CRPC today? Can anyone assist us, please?
Yes, what's?
So that's just a report.
Yes, to start the investigation.
Then who lodged the FIR?
183.
First, the father of the deceased.
Yes.
Then
And
the
then
vice
vice
principal of
principal.
the hospital. First, the father of the deceased, the vice principal of the hospital.
So there cannot be two FIRs.
No, but both
Who-
complaints were sent to us.
No.
Both complaints sent to us.
Tell us whose complaint is treated as,
Father of the deceased.
this is registered at what time?
11:45 PM.
11:45?
PM.
Now,
Next day, next day.
Yes.
The night. The night, madam.
The night.
In the night. In the night, madam.
thing.
In the
Now,
night.
when is the body, one second, when is the body handed over to the parents for cremation?
Well, let's kindly have this
But just
note
tell
that
us,
I've given.
what
Just
time is the body handed over to the parents for cremation? One second.
Around 3:30.
30:10.
No.
Therefore, one thing is very clear. The body is handed over to the parents for cremation at 8:30 PM. The FIR is registered at 11:45 PM. 3 hours and 15 minutes after the body is handed over to the parents for cremation.
Well, they refused to file. Well, this is the problem. We handed it over. They filed the FIR. They made the complaint at 11:45. They say, we are in shock. Please do whatever you want to do. They wanted a postmortem. We did the postmortem. All is videographed. Everything is videographed.
The autopsy and the postmortem take place.
Between 1:45 to 4 PM.
Now, between 1:45 and 4 PM,
Yeah.
the autopsy takes place, followed by the
Maharaj, the
postmortem.
autopsy took place at 6 o'clock, not at.
Fair enough. That's all right. We take it as between 1 and 4 o'clock. It doesn't take place in 1 minute. It takes
That was
time.
when.
Videograph.
1 second. Don't keep on interrupting.
They wanted
So
a board. We constituted a
proceeding-
board.
We are proceeding on the basis of Mr. Sibal's hypothesis that the autopsy and the postmortem take place between 1 and 4:45 in the afternoon. Now,
Lordship, there is-
notwithstanding this, clearly,
Lordship,
the autopsy would reveal that this is a case where a doctor has been murdered, where she has been murdered.
Yeah.
The FIR is registered at 11:45 in the night, Mr. Sibal.
Yeah.
And who was expected to?
Yeah.
Nobody in the hospital registers the FIR.
No.
The father registers the, what was the principal or the vice principal? What were the authorities of the hospital doing?
No, they wanted a board. We constituted a board. They wanted a magistrate. We got the
You
magistrate.
don't need
They
to
realize
take time
that
for
murder has
registration
been
of
committed.
FIR.
Well, that's-
You don't need a medical board for
Yeah,
registration of
policy.
FIR.
We are
At
in
the
a
moment,
medical
at the moment, Melas, what are we considering? We are considering, Melas, 2 or 3 things, as your lordship has put to me.
Not done.
How did these photographs reach the social media?
No,
I'll mention all this, how did these photographs reach the media? We have nothing to do with it.
No, let
because
us
we
not
ordered out
trivialize, my lord.
everything. People there took photographs, came in, took photographs and sent it. Number 2, Malad. Number 2, immediately, Malad, an unnatural death case, Malad, was started and an investigation was started. Your lordship may be right, Malad, why did it happen? But whatever the parents were doing, we were agreeing with that. We set up a board. We asked the magistrate to come, a judicial magistrate to be present. Everything was videographed. Everything was called.
Mr. Sibal, it is the
Application
obligation
was made
of the
before the Sialta
authorities
court.
of the hospital.
Yeah.
The parents are not present in the hospital when the murder takes place.
Yes.
It's the obligation of the authorities of the hospital to register an FIR the moment they get
2:45 it was done. 2:45 done. The letter was sent.
11:45 in the
No, 2:45 letter was sent. Assistant superintendent sent a letter at 2:45 minutes. It's not 11:30. At 2:45 itself, we'll set out all this, Malad. It's better we set it.
What we,
Lordships may give me 5 minutes, my lord,
yes,
to further, my lord, to assist your lordships. My lord, first of all, Lord, let us not trivialize on this side, my lord, we are dealing with one incident, but your lordships are rightly looking at a larger picture. But we are dealing with, my lord, a young doctor, not only raped by a sexual pervert or perverts, but who was an animal-like instinct. who had an animal-like instinct, the way, my lord, the body was handled. Thereafter, my lord, I don't wish, my lord, to make this a political issue. I would request the state also not to be in a denial mode. 3 hours of the patient, parents waiting, my lord, is something we can experience if we put ourselves in that position. Now, my lord, so far as the safety is concerned, my lord, one thing I must bring to your lordship's notice. My lord, the doctors are genuinely, my lord, have a grievance. They are, my lord, they've lost one of their colleagues, my lord, globally. But, my lord, out of, my lord, all states, 23 states have legislations dealing with, my lord, what is called for, my lord, Kerala, my lord, so-and-so Medicare service persons and medical service institutions, prevention of violence and damage or loss to the property act. There are, my lord, I'll give, my lord, the list of acts. My lord, this also the National Task Force, my lord, can
The punishment which is provided under.
it's a cognizable, my lord, and
3 years.
3 years.
yes, my lord. It's cognizable, non-bailable, and punishment is 3 years. My lord, this is first. I'll, my lord, place it. The National Task Force, my lord, which our lordships contemplate, can, my lord, go into this, can even make suggestions, and it should be welcome, my lord. My lord, second thing, my lord, which is worrying us is this. My lord, even in a well-organized function, if we want the presence of 500 people in an auditorium, we all know we have to make efforts. 7,000 people at the middle of the night armed with lathis and hockeys, my lord, can never be without the knowledge, if not consent, of the police force. It's complete failure of law and order, my lord, in the entire state.
What time did the vandalization of the hospital take place?
Lord, midnight. It's at midnight, my lord.
I thought my
7,000
learned
people.
friend, he doesn't want to politicize the matter, Malad. Why is he saying all this?
Now,
Let's-
why this is, my lord, important.
We should be called upon. We'll tell you what happened.
Mr. Solicitor, what we'll do is that we'll.
One more aspect.
One-
One more aspect. Lord, and my lord, again, my learned friend may feel that this is, my lord, but this is directly related to the issue in question. Lord, the West Bengal has an in-charge DIG.
In charge?
In-charge DIG, Director General of Police, who is already being charged and being my lord, considered by your lordships for having fabricated or otherwise dealt with the evidence in Sharda scam case. Lord, your lordship's
Calcutta
direction
police
in
doesn't come under
Mr.
DGP.
Mr.
Calcutta police doesn't come under DGP. Why are you saying all this?
What this has to do
The
there.
This is
Director
Kolkata
General
police.
of Police
This has nothing
is
to
an
do with
in-charge
All
DGP.
this.
charge.
Not let someone else be the
Well, this is
in-charge.
what is happening.
Let them choose, but not the man who is already accused.
This is the kind of
having-
misinformation we are having, Malad.
This is
And
This is nothing to do. This is a
nothing to do.
only a minute.
Malad, I have only
Give me a
one
minute.
small request.
Another
What do you propose to do about the principal?
Whatever your lordship says, we'll do, Malad.
Constitution.
Malad, whatever your lordship says, we will do. There's no issue. SIT is constituted. SIT is constituted, but whatever your lordships will say, we will do. We are not, Malad, this is not adversarial, as I said. Malad, just give me just 1 minute. I just handed over something to your lordship. Just have a look at it. Malad.
Depends on
Just
the.
give it to my lord. 3 copies that I hand.
All right, Mr. Sibal, we just hear the solicitor for a minute. He just wants a minute.
All
and then we-
Lord, I just, my lord, I want this, my lord.
Your lordship,
Lord,
may I
an
just submit?
in-charge DG who is already a tainted officer in an affidavit filed before this court should be replaced by any other in-charge DG of their choice.
Malad, just have this.
Another,
We have
my lord.
we have set out what is in the media and we have set out the reality.
No, share it with
For-
all of us.
We will share it, don't worry.
No.
Kolkata police informed the family members that the
No,
present
no,
case
no,
was
they
a
are
case
in
of
a denial
suicide.
mode.
False.
Another
False.
aspect.
At no
Not
time did
discussed
the police give
judgment.
this information.
See, what we propose to do is we'll indicate what the broad parameters of our intervention in this matter consists of. We'll just pronounce it very shortly. For one thing, Mr. Sibal, we are very, very concerned. Let not the power of the state of West Bengal be unleashed on peaceful protesters.
Malad, I give We have
why-
videos, we have
Without
videos of
protest,
all
it
that
is
happened.
unleashed.
People, whether they are doctors, civil society, lawyers, people who are protesting, so long as there's no act of destruction of.
We have videos. We agree,
Let there not be the power of the state unleashed. on
agree.
Peaceful protection.
Manas, I agree, and that has not happened. 1 second. We have videos which we have placed, which will place before your lordship. And Manas, what happens is political parties get into the act and this is what happens.
People who are taken to the media to communicate their views,
Yes.
let us deal with them with a great deal of.
I agree, I
It's a time of national catharsis.
Look at the girl, don't be in denial.
Manas, now, for example, they say pelvic and collarbone was broken. False. Postmortem doesn't say that.
Lordship, state and the center, they'll keep
CBI
Fair.
is investigating it.
Yes.
We will ask for a report from the CBI. Now, what we propose to is,
Just
1 second,
Just one second.
this must stop. We are in charge of the proceeding. We have heard Mr. Solicitor, we have heard Mr. Sybil. If we start hearing all the interveners, there'll be no end to it.
Lordship,
Please have some patience. We are going to now tell you what we are proposing to do. We are not disposing of the case, but let's allow us to at least pronounce what we intend to do. All right.
No, this is the list of
okay.
acts.
Would your lordship just give us a minute?
On 9 August 2024, a 31-year-old postgraduate doctor at R.G. Carr Medical College Hospital, Kolkata, who was in a 36-hour duty shift, was raped and murdered inside the seminar room of the hospital. As horrific details have emerged in the course of media reportage, the brutality of the sexual assault and the nature of the crime have shocked the conscience of the nation. The name and graphic images of the deceased have been widely circulated on social media without regard to her privacy or dignity. Writ petitions were instituted before the Calcutta High Court seeking, among other things, a court-monitored investigation of the crime and the conduct of the hospital authorities, including the role of the principal of the medical college and other officials by a special team of investigating officers. It has been alleged that the parents of the deceased were initially informed that their daughter had committed suicide. They were permitted to see the dead body after several hours, and a first information report in regard to the murder was registered belatedly by the police after several hours. By its order dated 13 August 2024, the High Court transferred the investigation to the Central Bureau of Investigation. Following the incident, agitations and protests were called by doctors' associations, student bodies, and civic groups across the country. On the eve of Independence Day, several areas in Kolkata saw protests spurred by the Reclaim the Knife campaign. At 12:30 a.m. on 15 August, when a protest was underway at the hospital, a large mob assembled at the premises of the R.G. Carr Medical College Hospital and vandalized the emergency ward and other departments of the hospital. Following the acts of wanton disruption and vandalism, the Indian Medical Association, a private and voluntary organization of doctors in India, called for a nationwide withdrawal of medical services except emergency services for 24 hours on 17 August 2024. In the aftermath of the brutal incident and the demonstrations which followed, the state government was expected to ensure the deployment of the state machinery to prevent a breach of law and order. It was all the more necessary to do so since investigation of the crime which took place in the precincts of the hospital was underway. We are unable to comprehend how the state was not prepared to deal with the incident of vandalization of the premises of the hospital. Nationwide protests following the brutal incident in R.G. Carr Medical College Hospital have brought the issue of the lack of institutional safety for doctors to the forefront. Medical associations have consistently raised issues of the lack of workplace safety in healthcare institutions. Medical professionals, in the performance of their duties, have been unfortunate targets of various forms of violence. Hospitals and medical care facilities are open throughout the day and night. Medical professionals, doctors, nurses, and paramedic staff work round the clock. Unrestricted access to every part of healthcare institutions has made healthcare professionals susceptible to violence. Patients of relatives in anguish are quick to attribute untoward results to the negligence of medical professionals. Such allegations are immediately followed by violence against medical professionals. In May 2024, Two on-duty doctors were allegedly attacked by relatives of a patient who died during treatment in a hospital in West Bengal. In another incident in May 2024 in Bihar, following the death of a 25-year-old pregnant patient, a nurse was allegedly pushed off the first floor of the building by the kin of the patient. In August 2024, a final year resident in a hospital in Hyderabad was allegedly assaulted by a patient's attendants after the patient died due to medical conditions. These incidents of violence are a few among the many that have been unleashed against members of the medical community in the recent past. They are portents of a systemic failure to protect doctors, nurses, and paramedical staff in the confines of hospitals. With few or no protective systems to ensure their safety, medical professionals have become vulnerable to violence. With the involvement of systemic issues for healthcare across the nation, this court has had to intervene. Women are at particular risk of sexual and non-sexual violence in these settings. Due to ingrained patriarchal attitudes and biases, relatives of patients are more likely to challenge women medical professionals. In addition to this, female medical professionals also face different forms of sexual violence in the workplace by colleagues, seniors, and persons in authority. Sexual violence has had its origins even within the institution, the case of Aruna Shanbag being a case in point. There is a hierarchy within medical colleges, and the career advancement and academic degrees of young professionals are capable of being affected by those in the upper echelons. The lack of institutional safety norms at medical establishments against both violence and sexual violence against medical professionals is a matter of serious concern. While gendered violence is the source of malevolent manifestation,